At the Father's Day dinner, my cousin smirked and said, "We drained your account. Call it a group gift." Then my brother added, "You always say family comes first, so we came first." I smiled, canceled every payment in their names, and left the table quietly. 10 minutes later, the doorbell rang, and everything changed. "You always did act like the wallet of the family," my cousin Josh said, clinking his glass and flashing the kind of smirk you usually reserve for someone you're about to humiliate on purpose. I didn't say anything. I was too stunned by the way everyone else at the table laughed. "You're kidding," I said, forcing a chuckle. "Right?" That's when my brother Dylan leaned back in his chair, napkin still tucked into his collar like a bib, and said, "You always say family comes first, so we came first. Simple math." I looked around the table. No one looked shocked. Not my mother, who kept sipping her wine like this was a normal Thursday. Not my father, who had raised his glass a minute ago and toasted to strong family ties. Not even Aunt Monica, who once cried over an overdraft fee and now blinked at me with a shrug. They all knew. I paid for the dinner like I always did. Booked the private room at Ridge and Maple, ordered the wines they liked, prepaid for dessert. Father's Day was always hard, but I still showed up, still tried. But this was something else. "You drained my account," I said quietly, as in actually emptied it. Josh sipped his drink, calm as ever. "Group gift. Think of it as reallocating family funds. We all figured it made sense since you never say no." Dylan leaned in closer and added, "It was just sitting there, sis. You act like it's sacred, but money's just a tool. You say you love us, right? Then what's the problem?" I smiled, not because I was okay, but because I finally saw it clearly. They thought I was trapped, that I'd keep playing the generous fool forever, that I was too soft to ever walk away. But they forgot something important. I may have paid for dinner, but I still had the receipts. I pulled out my phone quietly, without drama, just opened my banking app and started swiping. Josh kept talking about some new startup idea. Dylan was on his second bourbon. No one noticed I was freezing every auto payment connected to their names. The car insurance I paid for Dylan after his DUI, Josh's rent, the one I'd been covering under a fake name on his lease, the family Spotify, Mom's Amazon Prime, all of it. I pressed confirm on the last one. Then I stood up. "Where are you going?" Dad asked, finally paying attention. "Bathroom," I said. "Won't be long." But I didn't head for the bathroom. I walked straight out the restaurant door into the summer dusk. 10 minutes later, the doorbell rang and everything changed. The first text came before I even reached the parking lot. "Dylan, what did you do?" Then another. "Mom, sweetheart, can you please come back? There's been a misunderstanding." And then one that made me stop walking. "Josh, sis, it was a joke. Come on, a joke." They thought draining my account, mocking me in front of a room full of extended family, and raising a toast to my humiliation was a joke. Let's rewind. It didn't start at dinner. It started long before, years before. I was the fixer, the one they called when the electric bill was overdue, when Josh's credit card got declined, when Dylan's license got suspended and he needed an Uber account just for a few weeks. They didn't ask. They assumed. Like the time Mom texted, "Hey honey, we put you down as cosigner for Dylan's loan. Just a formality. No need to worry." Not "can we?" Not "would you mind?" Or when Dad broke his foot and somehow it became my job to pay the mortgage for 3 months straight. "You don't want us to lose the house, do you?" They never forgot to send that kind of message. Then came the group chat incident. 6 months ago, Josh screenshotted my dating profile and dropped it into the family group chat with the caption, "Our local bank account, trying to find love." It got 23 laughing reactions. Even Aunt Monica added, "She's such a sweet girl, always helping. Hope someone sees her heart under all that desperation." No one defended me, not even Mom. When I confronted her later, she just said, "They're just teasing. That's what families do. It's love, just not gentle." The money started disappearing slowly. At first, I thought I was just spending too much. Food, bills, the usual. But then I started noticing transfers I didn't make. A Venmo charge titled "Wedding Deposit," even though I wasn't engaged. A $900 Apple Pay withdrawal I couldn't trace. Turns out Dylan had been using an old connected device when I forgot to deauthorize it. When I brought it up, he laughed. "You're acting like you're broke," he said. "You make what, 6 figures? Don't pretend it hurts you." Then came Dad. He started calling more often, but never to say hello. It was always, "Do you have a second?" which really meant, "Can I guilt you into something?" He was behind on taxes, claimed it was a clerical error. I paid it. He needed help with repairs. I paid it. Then I found out through a cousin that he told everyone he paid for my college. That was the line. The real breaking point before the dinner came a week earlier. I checked my savings account and saw it had dropped by $12,300. Gone. I thought it was fraud until I called the bank. They said the transfer was authorized from my IP address, except it wasn't me. I filed a report, and then I remembered Josh had borrowed my laptop 2 weeks earlier. Said his was acting up. I never thought to check if he'd installed remote access. When I confronted him, he didn't even flinch. "Why are you acting like a cop?" he said. "It's just money. We needed it." "Who's we?" I asked. He smiled. "The family." At that dinner, the one where he toasted my broken spine like a punchline, I realized something. They weren't parasites. Parasites don't laugh while they feed. They were architects. They built a machine where I existed only to be harvested. And the worst part was I let them, because I believed that if I gave enough, maybe they'd finally see me as family, as more than a bank, as someone worth respect. All I earned was the punchline. When I walked out of that restaurant, I didn't go home. I went to my office and opened my files, because I hadn't just been sending money. I'd been saving things, screenshots, messages, audio recordings. The one where Josh literally said, "If she finds out we took that money, just say we thought it was her gift to Dad. He won't push." Or the group chat where Dylan joked about how easy it was to gaslight me. But there was something else, something I hadn't told anyone. Remember that family investment Dad had roped me into 2 years ago? The property in Temecula that was supposed to be a vineyard? Well, I pulled the records last month when something didn't sit right. Guess what? They used my identity to secure a business loan. And guess what else? They never paid it back. My credit was tanking. And I hadn't even realized, because they forwarded all the letters to a family P.O. box that Josh opened. So no, the dinner wasn't the explosion. It was the last spark. And that doorbell, that was the start of war. But not the kind they expected, because I wasn't going to scream. I was going to unmake their empire piece by piece. And it started with who was standing on the other side of that door. The person at the door was not who my family expected. It was Mara, my financial advisor. But more importantly, the one who had helped me trace every suspicious transaction, every unauthorized access, every time the family dipped their hands into places they had no business being. She wasn't smiling. She was holding a manila folder in one hand and her phone in the other. I let her in without a word. Behind me, the dining room was a frozen painting. Josh still held his drink midair. Dylan texting under the table. Dad chewing slowly like he didn't know a storm had just entered the house. Mom broke the silence first. "Who is this?" she asked. I sat down at the head of the table and motioned Mara to join me. "This," I said calmly, "is the person who helped me figure out where my savings went." Josh snorted. "Oh, come on. Don't make this dramatic. It's not a crime to help family." Mara opened the folder and laid out 5 sheets in front of me. I slid them one by one across the table like cards in a high-stakes poker game. A signed loan application in my name. A bank transfer from my business account to Josh's crypto wallet. A screenshot of Dylan logging into my online banking using a spoofed IP. A transcript of the group chat complete with timestamps. A digital audio file labeled simply Dad's Plan. I clicked play on my phone. Dad's voice filled the room. "Look, if she finds out, we just say it was for her. Father's Day, retirement gift, doesn't matter. She won't sue us. She's too soft." No one breathed. Then Mara added, "That recording was obtained from a cloud backup. You didn't realize he still had his Dropbox synced." Dad slammed his glass on the table. "You're recording private conversations now?" I looked at him, calm, steady. "No, you recorded them. You just weren't smart enough to delete them." Josh stood up suddenly. "This is insane. You're acting like we're criminals. It was a family misunderstanding." Mara handed me a small black flash drive. "Show them the drive." I pulled out my laptop and plugged it in. What played next wasn't an audio file. It was a folder named Family Debt Payment Agreement. PDF. Forged digitally from a template my cousin had used to fake a contract between me and Dylan. The signature was mine, except I never signed it. Mara zoomed in on the metadata created by Josh Lockwood. I turned the screen. "Recognize this, Josh?" His mouth opened, then closed. Dylan cursed under his breath. "I didn't know he was going to actually file it," he muttered louder. "I said I didn't know he was going to file it. It was supposed to be for emergencies." "And the $12,000 you moved from my account last week?" I asked. Silence. That's when Mom stood up, her voice trembling. "You're tearing this family apart over some money." I laughed. That kind of laugh that sounds more like a sob, snapping in half. "No, Mom, you did. when you all decided that love was measured in withdrawals. I reached into my bag and pulled out one last thing, an envelope. Inside, copies of every payment I'd made in their names in the last 3 years. Over 86,000. I read the total aloud. Josh turned white. Dylan stood up, mumbling, "I need air," and left the room. Dad looked down at his plate like it had betrayed him. And Mom, she just whispered, "We didn't know it was that much." That's when the doorbell rang again. Everyone flinched. I smiled. "I think that's for you." Dad opened the door, and in walked Eric, my cousin's ex, the one everyone called a drunk and a failure. Except now he held a tablet in his hand and nodded politely at me. "Ready?" he asked. I nodded. He placed the tablet on the table and hit play. It was a video call recording. Josh on screen, 3 weeks earlier, talking to Eric. "Listen, we're going to drain her account and call it a Father's Day gift. She won't even check. If she gets mad, we'll spin it." "What if she finds out?" Eric asked. "Then we make her doubt herself. She's good at playing innocent. She's good at acting shocked, right?" Eric paused the video. I saved that call just in case I needed to remind people who really betrayed me. Josh lunged for the tablet, but Mara was quicker. She snatched it back. "Touch it again, and I will press charges." Dad turned to me, face red, veins visible on his neck. "You think this makes you better than us? You just embarrassed us in front of each other. That's not family." I stood up slowly. "No, that's finally telling the truth." Then I turned to everyone at the table. "This is your notice. I've canceled every payment, every transfer, every co-signed loan, every auto debit tied to your lives. Your subscriptions are dead. Your Netflix gone, Spotify gone, Josh's rent, Dylan's insurance, Mom's grocery card dead." I let that sit, then added, "And tomorrow, the IRS will receive a full report of the fraudulent loan taken in my name. Good luck with that audit, Dad." He lunged forward like he might actually hit me. Eric blocked him with one hand. "Sit down," he said coldly. The air went cold. I gathered the papers, tucked the drive in my pocket, and turned to leave. Josh muttered, "You're seriously leaving after all this?" I stopped at the door, looked back. "Yeah, quietly. That's more respect than you gave me." And then I left into the night. No yelling, no drama. Just a woman who finally decided that the family name meant nothing if it came attached to chains. The next morning, I pressed publish. Not a dramatic video, no crying selfie, just a post. Title: What Family First Really Meant in My House. Then I attached the files, screenshots of the group chat, the forged loan, the audio of Dad, the fake repayment contract, the bank record showing $86,000 gone, and finally the video of Josh laughing about gaslighting me. I didn't tag anyone, didn't need to. Within 3 hours, it had 12,000 shares. By noon, it hit a local subreddit. By evening, it was on Reddit's front page under RR entitled people. Then TikTok picked it up. Some user cut the clip where Josh said, "You always say family comes first, so we came first," and paired it with a slow zoom on the bank statements. It went viral. 2.2 million views in 24 hours. I didn't read every comment, but the tone was clear. Imagine mocking someone who literally funded your life. That smile at the dinner table. That's generational trauma snapping. Quiet revenge is delicious. Who's the loser now? Josh. That evening, Dylan texted me 19 times. First, "We need to talk." Then, "That post is ruining us. Please delete it." Finally, "You think this is funny? You're burning down your own family." I left him on read. Around 8 p.m., I got a DM from someone I didn't recognize. It was a local reporter. She said the story had exploded online and people were asking if it was true. She asked if I wanted to comment. I sent her a single line. "Everything I posted has a paper trail and you haven't seen half of it." She published the article that night. Title: Family First, Until the Money Runs Out. A Quiet Daughter, an $86,000 betrayal, and the viral fallout. The article blew up. Then came the reactions. Mom posted a long Facebook message the next morning. "We may not be perfect, but we are still family. The internet shouldn't be a place to destroy the people you love. Forgiveness matters." The comments didn't go how she expected. "Did you forgive yourselves when you stole from her? Forgiveness isn't a free pass. Lady, you raised a snake pit, and now you're surprised it's on camera." Then came Josh. He tried to post a rebuttal, claimed I misrepresented everything, said it was just financial support with miscommunication. Someone found a Reddit comment he made 6 months ago bragging about milking his cousin's guilt complex. Dot. He deleted his profile that night. Dad didn't post anything. He lawyered up. I got a cease and desist letter typed in Comic Sans, if you can believe it, accusing me of slandering the family legacy. I sent back a one-page reply, just one sentence. Truth isn't slander, and you lost your legacy the day you weaponized my love. Then something happened I didn't expect. The bank called me. Turns out Mara had flagged so many suspicious transactions that they launched a formal investigation. Josh's fake contract, Dylan's spoofed access, the Temecula Vineyard loan, all of it was under review. They froze 3 family accounts pending verification. Then the IRS called. The loan in my name was under review for fraud. The vineyard business. Dad tried to register as veteran-owned. They found inconsistencies in the documents. Guess who handed over the original DD-214? Grandpa did. I hadn't even told him yet what happened. He called me and said just one thing. Told you. Mud on their knees. Meanwhile, I was doing something I never thought I'd get to do. Live. I moved into my new apartment. Clean space, no noise, no guilt trips. I built a YouTube channel. Not about revenge, about financial literacy. First video. What happens when your family weaponizes guilt and how to reclaim control. It passed 300,000 views in 3 days. People started messaging me, strangers thanking me, saying I gave them courage to cut ties, to say no, to stop bleeding for people who only bring knives. Then I got an email from a nonprofit for adult children of toxic families. They asked me to speak at their fall conference. I said yes. Dylan tried one last thing. He showed up outside my apartment. Hoodie, tired eyes, cheap flowers. Said he wanted to talk. I opened the door just enough to say, I spent years making your life easier. You spent those same years making mine hell. I'm not here for your redemption arc. Then I closed the door. Final blow. I changed every login, every number. Closed the joint account Mom used for emergencies. Canceled the Prime, the Spotify, the gym memberships, the Costco card, all of it. Then I made a final post. No drama, just a photo of my keychain with a new tag. Caption. Account closed. Turns out family wasn't first. I was just the first they used. You know what I realized? I wasn't angry anymore. Not after the comments, not after the viral videos, not even after the bank investigations or the cease and desist letter written like a passive-aggressive church bulletin. I was done. Done pretending I was part of a family that only dialed my number when a bill was due. Done buying peace with silence. Done accepting "you're too sensitive" as an apology for being treated like a wallet with a heartbeat. The last message I got from Mom was short. You've made your point. Can we please move forward? I didn't reply, but I did move forward, just not in her direction. I changed my number. New carrier, new SIM, no forwarding. Only 5 people have the new one. None of them share DNA with me. I took the YouTube channel full-time. Now it's a brand. Debt list by design. First hoodie drop sold out in 48 hours. The old family Spotify, I replaced it with my own. First playlist title, Songs to Cut Toxic Ties To. Cover image, a screenshot of Dylan's "We Need to Talk" text. But my favorite part? The new storefront. I took a portion of what I recovered, just enough, and partnered with a local mental health nonprofit. We opened a small co-working cafe for survivors of toxic homes, guilt-raised children who became adults with boundaries. Clean, bright, safe. Name above the door. First place. Under that, in smaller font, because I always came last, no longer. The ribbon cutting went viral again. Someone tagged Josh. He didn't comment. Dylan posted a story. Some people forget who fed them. I almost laughed. You didn't feed me. I paid for dinner. I paid for dessert. I even paid the tip and got spit in return. But now I eat at peace. I live without sirens in my chest. I sleep without wondering who's going to message me at 2 a.m. asking for a quick $400 or reminding me of how much we did for you growing up. Let me say it loud. I am not a villain for choosing peace. I am not cruel for refusing to bankroll my own abuse. And most of all, I am not your redemption story. This story is about setting boundaries, not revenge. This isn't the part where I forgive you and we all hug. This is the part where I thrive without you. This is the part where I say, you lost access to me.